Hey folks, welcome back. Everyday KT number 186. Tonight we're talking about assumption. Assuming. Guessing something without knowing what you're talking about or what you're doing. Everyone knows the old adage, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. That is one of the truest, most factual statements in the universe. Because what basically, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, assuming is like, well, there's a block of wood in a bucket. Well, maybe I'm just going to say, well, the top 5 or 6 look like blocks, so they're all blocks. You're not going to look, not going to open it up, say, oh, well, actually everything else underneath it's round, or there's eggs in the basket, or whatever other silliness is going on. Or you walk into a room and you're like, well, I see 2 guys in kilts or 5 guys in kilts, everybody must be Scottish. Or assuming, oh, you're wearing a kilt today? You must be playing the bagpipes. Where's your pipe band located? Assuming. It is evil. It is bad, and it will destroy everything that you do. If you simply live off of assumption, professionally, personally, in a business, whatever, it will suck. Because this is what happens. If you're in a business and you assume things, well, when you assume things and they're wrong, what happens? That usually costs money. And it's money you can't get back because you made a bad assumption. You did not educate yourself as to what exactly is going on. You didn't educate yourself about maybe how long it takes something to do, or how much something costs, or exactly how to do something. You're just like, well, I saw somebody do it on YouTube once. It looks pretty easy. Well, there's a reason it looks easy, because that person has been busting their ass for 10 years doing that thing that you saw on YouTube that looked easy. So, assuming is bad. There are a very minute handful of places where assuming is fine. If you're in a medical triage situation, maybe, I'm not a doctor so I don't know, certain mathematical formula where given XYZ blah 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 blah, you can assume that something else. I've heard that done. I don't know. I'm also not a mathematician. Anyone out there who knows my math skills at anything above balancing a checkbook knows fairly well. Assuming is bad, especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships, at work or at a networking event. Say you walk up and see somebody and they're not dressed very well. It looks like, they're just wearing the right pair of jeans, maybe a band t-shirt from some 80s hair metal band, a pair of chucks, something like that, and you dismiss that person. Lo and behold, you realize after the event that that was the CEO of the client that your company's been after for 2 years. And he was 4 feet away from you, and he wanted to talk to you about your kilt. And you blew him off because he looked like some Joe Schmo. You're just like, you know what? Nah. Never assume. Never, ever, ever assume. Taking things at face value, maybe, but always do your research. Understand who it is you're talking to, and what they're about. And if you don't know, don't pretend to know. Some guy walks up, some girl, and they want to talk to you. Blank slate. Unless you know something about them that's factual, you can make some rough, maybe some assumptions, maybe, but I wouldn't if I were you. Because they'll get you in trouble. Because if they're wrong, they're wrong, and wrong assumptions have caused more problems in this world than anything I know, except for guys chasing girls and girls chasing guys, or some kind of, I don't even know what. Assumptions are bad. Stay away. Very simple message tonight. Don't assume things. You see a guy in a kilt, that does not mean he plays the bagpipes well. He's not marching in a parade today. There's not a Renaissance festival 6 blocks up and he's the guy who's in charge of it all. Assumptions are not good. Don't make them, because it makes an ass out of you and everyone else. There's only a couple people watching, so somebody throw out a kiltology. Either that or the little thing. Let's see if I can do it right. Right there. Tells me how many people are watching. Right now it says 2. I know Josh is one of them. So somebody throw out a volume of kiltology and see what happens. You know what? It's hot as hell outside. I'm just going to grab one. So, volume 2. let's see. Well, here we go. So assumptions are bad. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to make assumptions about pretty much anything. Well, demands. That's another one. You don't want to do that either. Kiltology number 311. Demands. Demands are things you just don't give a kiltie. Think about it. He's in a kilt. Do you really think it is wise to try to boss him around? Be careful. He might turn rapidly and unleash this. And it says see Kiltology number 300 or 278. I got a bad idea what that might be, but I don't know. Yeah. So demands. Trying to boss people around just because you think you can or you assume you can. Yeah, Dave, you are the other one. So assuming that you can control someone or boss them around because you think you can, you might want to think about that for a minute because you really don't know what you're getting into half the time. So again, assumptions are bad. Never assume unless you know what's going on. Never assume that you know exactly what the situation is until you get all the information. Because otherwise, if you're not making an educated and informed decision, you're guessing. And unless you're taking the SATs and you don't care what school you go to, guessing is bad. So, you guys, really short episode tonight because I'm not going to assume that you want to stick around and watch me blather on about don't assume. You guys have a good night tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Be strong. Put a kilt on.